Things are cooling down now, but the threat of dangerously hot weather will linger around this weekend. Hello, I'm Alex Finney. Chief Meteorologist Mark Prater has your weekend forecast in a moment. But first, we need to check in with breaking news tonight. Police are investigating a shooting near 1st Avenue North. CBS 42 News reporter Jamie Ostroff joins us live from the scene. Jamie, what's going on there?
Good evening, Alex. We're here on 55th Street North near 1st Avenue North. I want to show you what happened. There was a man who was shot, according to police, inside this building here. Now, if I show you around here, you can see this is still an extremely active scene. We've seen officers and investigators going in and out of the building, shining flashlights in the parking lot, searching for any bit of evidence they can. Here is what police can tell us what happened here. Police say a man was shot inside this building, which is actually not a home. It is a business. Police think it is some sort of charity business. They say there's a wood shop inside. A man was shot in the chest here, rushed to UAB Hospital, where I'm told he is in serious condition, but he was able to give police a statement about the two suspects who are still out on the loose tonight. The suspects were described as two young men. While one public information officer said they were juvenile, another officer said they're not sure of their exact age. Again, one man shot in the chest, serious condition here tonight. Two suspects still on the loose. We are live in Birmingham tonight. Jamie Ostroff, CBS 42 News.
Thanks, Jamie. We'll continue to follow that breaking news. Well, it's hot and muggy, and it's going to get a whole lot hotter. CBS 42 Chief Meteorologist Mark Prater joins us with your first look at your weekend forecast.
Alex, I mean, it was hot today. I mean, all things considered, it was one of those days where you're going, it feels like August, not June. But it's about to get even worse over the next couple of days. Let's start off with how things start in the morning. We will have temperatures into the mid and upper 70s. There will be a few passing clouds from time to time, but our temperatures will quickly warm into the upper 80s by 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's not even factoring in what it will feel like as far as the heat index value goes. Here's a look at what we're looking at as far as temperatures and the humidity factored together. Just to give you an idea, tomorrow in the mid-afternoon it will feel like 107 in Jasper, 106 in Birmingham, 105 for Tuscaloosa, Alabaster, Pell City, Talladega. And then it gets even hotter as we get into Sunday with our temperatures starting to warm back up and then that humidity becoming a factor once again. We'll see numbers like 107 in Tuscaloosa on Sunday, 105 in Jasper, Birmingham 104. That's why I've issued a weather aware for not only Saturday but also Sunday. You have to make sure that if you're going to be outside for any reason, find a way to cool off, drink plenty of water, especially tonight if you're going to be out tomorrow, and make sure the kids are hydrated if they're out playing sports. I will have much more, though, about the changes ahead, which includes rain and some changes in the temperatures. All that's coming up in your Storm Track forecast just ahead.
Thank you, Mark. Well, with all this heat comes the need to stay hydrated and aware of your personal safety when you're outdoors. CBS 42 News reporter Stefan Dingle joins us with ways you can stay cool this weekend.
Well, as Mark has already alluded to, this heat wave is not something you want to play with. But in light of so many outdoor activities this weekend, I took a look at a couple of options to help you beat the heat. There is nothing like that Alabama heat.
It is very warm, hot, and humid outside.
Scorching hot.
What is it?
Scorching hot.
Scorching. Yeah. All right now.
It's hot, and there's no other way to put it. It's hot.
With August-like temperatures here in the month of June and an abundance of outdoor activities, some are hesitant on being in the heat.
We have a neighborhood association get together this weekend, and it's going to be outdoors, so we won't be there long.
That's why this lovely couple did what most of you may do, beat the heat by going to the movies.
Well, we definitely do expect some increased business this weekend. We've got a lot of great movies out, and like I said earlier, it's a great time to come inside and enjoy the cool weather, spend some time with family and friends, and no better place to go than a movie theater.
Wow, we're having a great group of guests this year.
Or if you insist on being outdoors, what better place to be than Alabama Splash Adventure, where you literally can't avoid the water nor hydration.
When you're in our park, there's free unlimited soft drink. Grab a cup of ice and a glass of water or a Pepsi, whatever you want. You know, stay hydrated and happy. That's what we're here to do, is to have fun with the families and kids of Alabama.
Now, Daniel Cook of Splash Adventure advises people to eat and hydrate before you get to the park. That'll be a great way to stay safe if you're going to be outdoors. But if you're like me and planning to do indoor activities, there are a lot of great movies out this weekend that you can check out at your local theaters. We're live in the studio. Stefan Nigel, CBS 42 News.
Thank you, Stefan. Well, Birmingham Salvation Army is opening a cooling station to help folks escape the sizzling temperatures when the heat index is over 96, like it will be this weekend. The group opens its doors on 11th Avenue North during the day for anyone wanting to keep cool. To learn more about the cooling station, call the number on your screen. And of course, we have a lot more on ways to stay cool on our website, WIAT.com. Just search hot temperatures. Well, new at 10, an Irondale man is behind bars after allegedly stealing torturing his neighbor's dog to death. Listen to this story. Irondale police say 34-year-old David Bearden broke into his neighbor's home and stole his neighbor's rat terrier and some prescription drugs. Later that day, the neighbors found the dog's body on the porch. He faces several charges, including animal cruelty and burglary. He's in the Jefferson County Jail on more than $30,000 bond. We have an update on a deadly car crash in Tuscaloosa County. This all happened near the Black Warrior River Bridge just after 10 o'clock this morning. Troopers say 86-year-old Ray Allen died when his car collided with a truck driven by 77-year-old Charles Phillips. Allen died on the scene. Phillips was taken to the hospital. Now, the extent of his injuries is unknown. Troopers are investigating what caused that crash. New tonight, an investigation is underway in Etowah County after an officer-involved shooting in Gadsden. Authorities say a sheriff's deputy and a police officer stopped Jeremy Rona on Owens Drive to ask him about a burglary. Now, at some point, he shot at the officers and they returned fire. No officers were injured in the incident, but Rona was hit and taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities have not said what charges he will face, but they do tell us Rona had 3 active warrants against him for burglary, robbery, and a probation violation. Right now, investigators need your help finding a Graysville woman who has been missing since April. 43-year-old Tammy Skinner Blackwell was last seen at her home on April 4th and hasn't returned since. If you know where she could be, please call the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department. That number is 325-1451. An investigation into a drug trafficking organization ends in a drug raid in Bessemer. Authorities searched a home on Norwood Drive. Now, inside, they found cocaine and meth, together worth nearly $250,000. There were also 5 handguns and 1 assault rifle inside, along with $25,000 in cash. Investigators arrested Juan Lopez on trafficking illegal drugs charges. He is in the Jefferson County Jail on a bond of $60,000. Well, it was the vote that sent shockwaves around the world. Not talking about the presidential race, but the United Kingdom's stunning decision to leave the European Union. Still, it could impact our election here in November. Earlier today, CBS 42's Jamie Ostroff did some digging on what that case could mean.
It was an historic vote that Associated Press politics reporter Steve Peoples says came at a critical time.
It's very clear that the same forces that fueled this Brexit vote in the UK are at play here in the US. Donald Trump's supporters are very much fueled by economic populism, a nationalist pride, if you will.
Peoples says this plays out in what's considered the centerpiece of Trump's platform.
Tone on immigration was a huge factor in what happened in Britain, and that's also a huge factor here in 2016. You know, there's a refugee crisis going on in Europe. Here in America, the focus more is on immigrants coming across the southern border in Mexico. And Donald Trump, of course, has made building the wall a pillar of his campaign. So to the extent that he's able to use that to connect with voters here in America, very, very similar to what happened over in Great Britain.
So as we head to the polls to choose our president in November, People speculates the Brexit vote could have an impact.
I think for anyone who thought that Donald Trump really might not have a strong chance here in America, watching what happened in Great Britain is clearly a wake-up call.
Trump seems to have acknowledged the parallels between Brexit vote and his campaign. As a matter of fact, he tweeted this from Scotland today, saying people want their country back. Hillary Clinton also weighed in. She released a statement saying she respects the choice of the British people. Well, heavy thunderstorms sent massive floods sweeping across West Virginia, killing at least 20 people. The rising waters took out bridges and swept away homes. Some homes exploded into flames as the water carried them off their foundations.
We heard an explosion and we smelled stuff burning. And the next thing I knew, I heard my mother-in-law scream that she was stuck in a tree and she was burnt badly.
As the cleanup continues, thousands of people are picking up the pieces without power. 44 counties in the state declared a state of emergency Thursday night. This weekend, veterans can get free dental care, and it's all happening right here in our community. Dentists and teams at nearly 400 Aspen dental practices in 33 states will volunteer their time and talents for what's expected to be the largest single-day oral health initiative for veterans. It's part of the Healthy Mouth movement. Some locations in our area participating include Trussville, Bessemer, Coleman, and Gadsden. For more information, be sure to head to our website, WIAT.com. Well, the Orlando terror attack struck a chord with people all across the country, and it prompted many to take action.
Just the most, like, my heart sank inside of my chest. It was just the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Still ahead, the brave move one Montevallo student made after the massacre in Orlando.
And I've issued a weather aware for Saturday and Sunday because of heat. It's going to be very hot tomorrow. I'll let you know who will hit the 100-degree mark and just how long this will last coming up after the break.
We continue our coverage of a shooting near First Avenue North. CBS 42 News reporter Jamie Ostroff joins us live from the scene. Jamie, what's it looking like out there?
Well, things are starting to become a little less active, but still very active nonetheless. As you can see, at least one officer and one investigator did leave the scene with a trunk full of what looks like evidence and evidence collectors that they were putting in there. Again, this area is still taped off after a man was shot in the chest inside this building here by what the victim says, described himself as two younger males. They could be juveniles, but again, investigators aren't sure their age. That victim now in serious condition, I'm told, at UAB Hospital. We are going to be staying on this situation as police get a better description of those suspects, and we can hopefully help them catch them. We are live in Birmingham. Jamie Ostroff, CBS 42 News.
Thank you, Jamie. Almost 2 weeks since the terror attack at a gay nightclub in Orlando, President Obama has designated the country's first national monument to the LGBT rights. Today, the president announced the new Stonewall National Monument will be in the area around the Stonewall Inn in New York City. A police raid on the Stonewall Inn in 1969 made history when patrons fought back, launching a weeks-long protest and the modern LGBT movement. The Stonewall National Monument will be added to America's national park system. Well, after the massacre in Orlando, this college student right here from Montevallo University made the most important decision of his life. CBS's Steve Hartman has his story.
At the University of Montevallo in Alabama, sophomore music major Jesse Johnson was devastated.
Like my heart sank inside of my chest.
After the Orlando attack, he says he wanted to mourn, but couldn't. At least not with the sincerity he wanted to.
In the back of my mind, I kept thinking, I can't show the sorrow that I have inside without first explaining to the world why I have that much sorrow.
So after hearing the news, Jesse sat down with his phone and did the most daring thing of his life. He typed out a message for his Facebook page, stared at it for the longest time, before finally mustering up the courage to click post.
I just did it.
The note read in part, "I've thought about coming out for months, but was afraid of being shunned by those I care about over something that makes me who I am. I'm not going to change. I am gay, and I love you all."
I wanted to officially be a part of that community that was hurting and that needed as many people to come together and stand with them.
A lot of people came out after Orlando, but few took as big a risk as Jesse Johnson. Jesse's family lives in Jemison, Alabama, in the heart of the Bible Belt. Fly a flag here, and it better have just red, white, and blue.
I worry for his safety because of that. I mean, this is Alabama.
Jesse's mom, Nikki Johnson.
I personally will never understand the parents that turn their back on their kids. I love him, and that'll never change.
Love you too.
When someone shoots up a gay bar, that kind of acceptance is not what he's aiming for. But Jesse says the majority of his family and friends have been remarkably supportive. And by doing so, they have helped turn his lifetime of fear into his future of belonging.
We're going to stand together regardless of how afraid we are.
And that's how you make a terrorist die in vain. Steve Hartman on the road in Montevallo, Alabama.
Such a touching story there. Well, Mark, we are getting ready for some pretty hot temperatures this weekend. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, when you look at the heat we've had right now, let's hope we're getting it over with now, and maybe we'll have a cool July and August, because this is what we are used to seeing in the month of August. And I've issued a weather aware for Saturday and Sunday. And the reason being is to make sure everybody is paying attention to how hot it is going to be tomorrow. A lot of us, especially when we're in air conditioning a good bit, we have a tendency to forget what it really feels like outside. And if you plan on being outside for any extended period of time, especially with kids playing sports right now, or maybe you want to get out and do some yard work this weekend, just be smart. Stay hydrated with water, because I'm telling you, you will sweat it out very quickly. So you need to have plenty in you before you get outside. I want to show you this current temperature right now is hard to believe. 10 o'clock at night, it's 87 degrees in Birmingham. The dew point is 72, so it feels like 93 if you were to walk outside right now. This is just almost unbearable. But as you look at our storm track hour by hour forecast for the remainder of tonight, a few passing clouds, that would be about it, but no rain, and temperatures gradually dropping into the upper 70s by early in the morning. Now, a number of spots around Birmingham have cooled off a bit. It's 80 now in Alabaster, as well as Tuscaloosa, 82 in Hamilton and Gadsden, But this is what it feels like. 90, or actually 93 now in Birmingham. The new number just came in. Still mid-80s from Jasper, up 22 into Hamilton. We're looking at low to mid-80s from Gadsden through Springville down to Pell City. 79 right now in Talladega, so you're one of the cooler spots. As we look at temperatures throughout the day tomorrow with the heat index, this is where it gets dangerous. 105 or higher is a criteria for heat advisory, but that has to be area-wide. And the National Weather Service is considering it, but either way, I want to make sure that everybody is aware of just how hot it will be. You'll get outside, you'll think, this is fine, I can get through this, but this really sneaks up on you. 107 in Tuscaloosa tomorrow, that's dangerous. I mean, if you're going to be outside doing yard work, do it early or do it later in the day, because during the afternoon, it's just not really one of those things you need to push your luck with, especially if you're very sensitive to the heat. 107 again on Sunday, 105 in Jasper, Birmingham 104. These are numbers that really will actually, in due time, start to go down, but at this point, in this juncture, we're going to have to deal with this throughout the weekend. Normally, we have a little bit of rain to cool things off in at least a few isolated spots, but this high pressure has been really a challenge for us, and we've been dealing with this high pressure for a number of days. But it is starting to shift a little more towards the south and west, so that's going to allow for a little bit of a backdoor cool front. And what that means is it will slide into North Georgia and then wedge its way into northeast Alabama. Not going to have that big of an impact, but it will help a little bit. Watch our dew points as we go through the night tonight. Look at some of these numbers. Upper 70s for West Alabama. Little bit lower in our eastern counties, and that will be thanks to the front. But then Saturday evening, we're still looking at 70s in most spots, and then 80. It's not very often I've seen a dew point of 80 in Alabama, but that right there means the air will be absolutely soaked with water and a little bit cooler for our eastern counties. But for those of you in West Alabama, remember that dew point is going to be hanging around in the upper 70s, low 80s for a number of hours. So factor in the sun and the heat we're dealing with, it can be a real dangerous setup. Here's your Storm Track 7-day. Again, severe, or actually a weather aware, no severe weather, but a few thunderstorms isolated, better coverage of rain, and a little bit of a cool down as we get into the first of next week. Rain chances, though, finally going up and cooling back to our normal levels by Thursday and Friday. Alex?
All right, thank you, Mark. Well, the UAB Blazers took another step towards the comeback today in sports. Hear from head coach Bill Clark when Chris Wrinkle joins us after the break.
We killed the jibs. You can put it away. We are not on time? Okay. Okay. So you're saying go on a 30-minute monologue? Got it. Eric wouldn't do that to me. Dex is on my side. You have no friends here.
watching WIAT CBS 42 News.
A big milestone in the comeback of UAB football today. Chris Wrinkle joins us now to explain. Chris?
Well, the UAB Blazers, of course, won't see the game field until 2017. But, of course, football isn't just about what happens on the game field. It's also about what happens on the practice field. And UAB's practice fields have an upgrade coming. As head coach Bill Clark mentioned how things like the heat and rain can affect football practices. And they got a new facility with a roof over one of the practice fields that will help manage all of that.
What is the day that wins or loses for you don't ever know. So that's one day. So imagine losing multiple days. You know, we just don't have a lot of gym space here. That's going to put all that in one facility. We've got weight room and training room, but we're going to be able to get out there and train any day we need to. It's everything, Doug.
Next step for UAB, putting those shovels in the ground. The groundbreaking is set for August. So a good day for UAB football, a bad day for former Alabama State quarterback Travaris Jackson, as Jackson was arrested for pulling a gun on his wife. Now, he was allegedly intoxicated, and his wife with a gun in her face responded, quote, "You better be accurate because you ain't accurate on the field." You can't make that stuff up. Today in Nashville, Derrick Henry was officially welcomed to the Nissan Heisman House, and he got a swanky new car, which is always a good thing. Now, the adjustment from college to pro atmosphere is intense, of course, but Henry's prepared thanks to games like the Iron Bowl and the National Championship.
It's just a heated rivalry, and you don't really get the feeling of it until you play in the game, and them fans do not play at all. But, I mean, like, National Championship, and we know what's all at stake. That's the main goal. But just the Iron Bowl, whoever wins that got bragging rights 365. So yeah, it's a whole different atmosphere in the Iron Bowl and National Championship.
Well, the Mets and Braves in Atlanta tonight. New York already up 5-0 when James Loney hits a 3-run shot to put them up 8-0. The Braves would fight back, though. Brandon Snyder with a pinch hit gets a 3-run home run of his own, but the rally falls short tonight as the Mets win their first in 5 against Atlanta 8-6. And finally tonight, we go to Germany where Sergio Garcia, the shot of the day, he's going to get a hole-in-one. What could make this day better for him? Well, how about this? That shot gives him a week free stay at any Hilton hotel, and he's going to do a little dance. We're going to call it the Sergio Shuffle. Pretty good day for Sergio Garcia on the golf course.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, CBS 42 News continues in a moment. We have weather coverage you can count on right after the break.
Hey, stay cool over the next couple of days. Heat index values 107 to 108 in many spots. Only a few scattered thunderstorms. Drink lots of water.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have right now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5.